Hello, everybody. How are we all doing today? Welcome to Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner on TotalZSportsRadio.com, and I am your host, Glenn Kaplan. We are live in Baltimore, Maryland, which is home of the Baltimoreans and the Baltimore Ravens. Who's excited for today's show? Welcome to the 92nd show here, and we will only have 7 to 8 more shows before I get to the special magic number of my 100th show on here. So, without further ado, there's a lot we got to get into today. A bunch of NHL playoffs that I witnessed over the last few days. It's been absolutely tremendous. Watching a ton of hockey. It's me eat, sleep, breathe hockey, I guess it has been for me for the last few days. So I guess I hope you all are having a good week. Nonetheless, can't believe it's already Thursday. Today's August 6th, another fast week going by. And use promo code 12OC Sports, all cash for deposit bonus up to $1,000 for my bookie. Ladies and gentlemen, bring out the brooms when the Hurricane and the Hurricanes are completely vanished. The New York Rangers right out of the playoffs. Oh, is this Carolina Hurricanes hockey team something else? They're very relentless on the forecheck, and it showed in this series that they wanted it more than the New York Rangers, and it showed. And the thing about the Carolina Hurricanes is this, and they showed it on the graphics. It was during Game 3, and I didn't realize this, what their top line was. Sebastian Aho, Teuvo Teravainen, and Andrei Svechnikov. That top line is very quietly and very underrated. It is one of the best first lines in the NHL, whether we see it or not. Statistically speaking, here's who I thought the top 2 best lines were in the NHL. Boston Bruins, David Pastrnak, Patrice Bergeron, and Brad Marchand. And for the Colorado Avalanche, Nathan MacKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, and Gabriel Landeskog. So let's see how many points how the Carolina Hurricanes, how they fare up with those lines. So Boston's top line recorded 238 points during the regular season. Carolina's happens to have 190. Oh, and Colorado, who I think is going to win the West, only has 178 from its top line. So what does this say about the Hurricanes? They're a legitimate Stanley Cup Series contender, and everyone's going to keep them under the radar. You know, they're just like that Category 1 hurricane that no one talks about. You know how you forecast hurricanes. It's like, oh, it's a Category 1 hurricane. We don't need to worry so much about this hurricane. Then here they come in the playoffs. They turn up to a Category 3, Category 4, maybe even a Category 5. Because they have not won since 2006 in 7 games against the Edmonton Oilers. And want to know who one of their players was? Rod Brind'Amour is now their head coach, and those players love playing for him. Someone said it at best last year. They would go through hot coals through that guy, and boy, oh boy, it seems like they would. This Carolina Hurricanes team is no joke, and they're going to be a tough out once again. They made it to the conference finals last year after trailing 2-0 against Washington Capitals and beat them in 7 games, double overtime. And you sweep the New York Islanders, but then you get swept to the Boston Bruins. I think it's a different story if they face Boston this year. I think Boston's already plagued with the President's Trophy curse, and I'll get to them later. But here's the points in this short series that Aho, Svechnikov, and Teravainen had. Aho, 3 goals and 5 assists, a plus-minus of 5. Svechnikov, 3 goals and 2 assists. All 3 goals were in Game 2. A hat trick. Plus-minus was 5. Teuvo Teravainen, a nice backhanded goal in this game. And 1 assist. His plus-minus was 5. Alright. And then Sebastian Aho, 68 games in the regular season. 38 goals and 28 assists. 66 points, which led the team. Plus minus a 10. Teuvo Teravainen, 68 games, 15 goals and 48 assists. His point total was 63 during the regular season, plus minus a 20. Andrei Svechnikov also played in 68 games, 24 goals and 37 assists, 61 total points, a plus minus a 9. So you can't, yes, I know. Yeah, we're saying, oh. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it feels like it's elite, but under the radar, it's completely elite. Because that top line, I really like that top line a lot, considering the fact it's the heartbeat and heart and soul of the Carolina Hurricanes, because without that top line, where are they really? And yes, I know they got a very young core over in Carolina, but I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. And the interesting thing about the Carolina Hurricanes is this. On a back-to-back situation, they went with James Reimer instead of Peter Mrazek, and James Reimer started for the first time since 2013 in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals in Game 7 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that was the game that had a 4-1 lead. And they blew it all sky high and lost 5-4 in overtime thanks to Patrice Bergeron, who won it for the Bruins in overtime, and the Maple Leafs choked that game away. And good for Reimer. And it's good that Brind'Amour trusts his players. So let's see what happened in game number 3. So Chris Kreider scored for the New York Rangers just 12 seconds into the second period. There's no goal scored in the first. Assisted by Jakob Trouba and Dylan Strome. The Hurricanes tied the game at 1 late in the second period. A backhanded goal scored by Teuvo Teravainen. Very beautiful backhanded goal scored by him, though, nonetheless. It was assisted by Andrei Svechnikov, top line I was talking about. Very quietly under the radar. Warren Foegele scored at the 5:07 mark to break the tie in the third period. Brady Skjei and Martin Necas on the assists. And then 9:34 remaining in regulation, 10:26 mark in the third period. Ladies and gentlemen, Aho makes one of the most slickest, most ridiculously scored deep backhanded goals you'll ever see in the playoffs. Oh, that was some slick moves by Sebastian Aho. Absolutely filthy. And the Carolina Hurricanes Twitter page gets an absolute win for what they posted on that goal. It said, don't worry, this post has already been reported for abuse. That is the most funniest thing I've ever seen, considering that goal looked like it was abused because it was a great play. And then Aho scores an empty net goal with 31 seconds remaining in regulation, 19:29 mark. Yeah, this team's going to be very dangerous moving on forward. And it seems like, and I'll get to the round robins later on the show if they'll play like Boston or the Washington Capitals again in the first round. What else is there here? So, Peter Mrazek and James Reimer. Reimer's record 1-0 with a .974 save percentage and a 1.0 OGA. Peter Mrazek played in 2 of the games and his record was 2-0 with a .940 save percentage and 1.5 OGA in that series. So, speaking of goalies, I figured I'd bring this up, sticking with the Hurricanes and the Rangers. Is this officially the end of the Henrik Lundqvist era with the New York Rangers? And it simply has to be. Henrik Lundqvist's streak of 129 consecutive games started in the playoffs, ended when Igor Shesterkin started in net the other night. And he played all right, but the team in front of him played like absolute dog doo-doo. Yes, I said that live air. It was just like absolutely garbage. How the Rangers played in front of Shesterkin. Shesterkin had a nice game with 27 saves in his first career playoff start. But Shesterkin knows he's going to be in a lot more of these in the near future. He's going to be in a lot more of them. So, I'm surprised that Alexander Georgiev didn't get the start. Well, not really. Considering that the goaltending group's the heartbeat heart soul of the New York Rangers, so it's like the backbone of this team. It is the backbone of this team. And you're going to have to figure out what they're going to be doing next year with the cap and a lot of things. And as for Henrik Lundqvist, he's probably done with the Rangers. In his career, he's played in 887 games, 459 .310.96 record, 64 shutouts, 2.43 GA, 918 save percentage, and that's going to get him into Toronto, Ontario in the Hockey Hall of Fame. And this past year, he played in 30 games, 10, 12, and 3 record, 1 shutout, 3.16 GA, and 905 save percentage. Well, I guess a lot of Rangers fans feel bad that he couldn't get a cup. Well, considering the fact someone said it best that Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin dominated the division for all those years. And let's see how much the tide is going to turn in that division moving on. So it appears as if it's Shesterkin and Georgiev in that moving forward. I guess the Lundqvist days in New York are over, and it probably should be, because you're not going to keep a 35, 36, 37, 38-year-old man on the roster next year, because you want to play the young guys, and Shesterkin belongs in net. A Kurt Shesterkin belongs in net. Why else wouldn't he? Because Shesterkin proved himself during the regular season. This is his net. And this is his time. Because this is going to be his time and a lot of other people's during this long stretch he hopes to be in the NHL for the next decade or so. Because this is where it's going to be going for the New York Rangers, though, moving forward nonetheless. And I want to say one other thing. Speaking of which, once again, I always talk about this with my Uncle Frank every single year when the Rangers make the playoffs. That he's always like, the Rangers are this, the Rangers are going to make a run. And I'm always like, get a run to the finals. I'm like, no, it's not happening again. And once again, where's that big bull of I told you so? Because I've always said to my dad or whoever else, he thought I got it from SpongeBob. No, it was something from a cartoon a long time ago I used to watch iCarly, where Freddie Benson mom's like, I told you so. And I'm like, give you a big bull if I told you so. And they're just like, yep, I knew what I was talking about when it came. I guess when it came to the New York Rangers. But they got a lot of questions to answer this offseason. And they are now one of the 8 teams that will be in contention for the number 1 overall pick for Alexis Lafreniere. Alexis Lafreniere is the projected next superstar in the National Hockey League. And you don't think for 1 second that the Rangers want Lafreniere or any other team that loses? Because in just a moment, or in a few moments from now, I will discuss how the seedings are working and where the series are, and that there's some serious contenders for the number 1 pick this year. Even though there were some serious contenders for the Stanley Cup Finals. And Alexis Lafreniere, we will find out who's getting Alexis Lafreniere on Monday, the 10th of August. But for right now, let me jump into my next hockey segment. How do I even want to start this off with the Penguins? I don't know where to begin. But I'm just going to begin with this. I'm just going to begin that I truly believe the Matt Murray days in Pittsburgh are officially over. And I got no pleasure saying that on the air right now. And no, I'm not going to blame. I'm going to partially blame him for that game last night because he shouldn't have given up that goal to Jeff Petrie. But at the same time, Jack Johnson needs to be launched on a catapult somewhere, land safely on a mattress so he doesn't get hurt, because he's absolutely atrocious for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And he's been on the ice and he's been absolutely hot right garbage in this series for Pittsburgh. And another thing I have no pleasure saying is Chris Letang is actually Chrysler overrated, but I'll get to him in a minute. Murray won them 2 Stanley Cups. Well, one, I would say definitely one, but then one in 2017 was Marc-Andre Fleury, and then Murray took over and sealed the deal. Now's the time for Mike Sullivan to do the same. You know the tension, and this is the same exact scenario. Now, this is the same scenario that happened in the conference finals against another Canadian team, Ottawa. You get outplayed in Game 3. You make a goaltending change for Game 4. And they happen to win Game 4, Game 5 of that Ottawa series. Had that been a best of 5, they would have won it. And because we are in the same situation here, a 2-1 deficit, I'm not completely worried too much as long as Sullivan puts Jarry in net. And as long as Chad Ruhwedel or Yusarika replace Jack Johnson. I know you can't replace Chris Letang. Look, I'm not that oblivious. But he's had his better days. Matt Murray and Tristan Jarry are both restricted free agents at the end of the year. And Jim Rutherford is keeping one. He almost traded Matt Murray to Colorado Avalanche on the 24th of February, which was the trade deadline. Yes. That's what it was. He almost traded him on the 24th. So we almost traded him on the 24th of February at the trade deadline. And that's where a lot of wheelings and deals were happening on the 24th of February. But now, let me say this. Tristan Jarry is now the man supposedly in net for Pittsburgh. Jarry was drafted a year ahead of Murray. What I mean by that is Jarry was drafted in 2013, Murray was 2012. Jarry was supposed to be the next big thing before Murray, but Murray happened to develop somehow more quickly. But it appears as if Jarry has longer and better durability than Matt Murray does. And Jarry seems to be more in shape than Murray. And Jesse Marshall wrote, and I agree with this tweet, I wouldn't make a goaltending change because Murray has been bad. I make a goaltending change as a wake-up call to the rest of the team. I make a change to get some puck movement out from behind the net. All these are viable reasons that have nothing to do with Murray. He nailed it. That's absolutely 100% correct. He absolutely nailed it on the head. And I couldn't agree with that statement more. And yes, I know Murray hasn't looked lost in this series, but a new spark of energy wouldn't mind to fit the bill. And that's exactly what happened in 2017 in the Eastern Conference Finals when they were down 2-1. And the same scenarios, we're looking at the same similar picture here. And yes, I know it's more of an elimination game than it was that. But the fact of the matter is, there's going to be a lot of chaos and a lot of happenings if they lose this series, and let's hope not. Because I guarantee you the NHL does not want to see 2 number 12 seeds in the round of 16. I cannot. That would be such a bad look. That's just my opinion on it. Although Chicago and Montreal are, the thing is, even though they're 12 seeds, they're both original 6 teams. That's the funny thing about this, is that the Chicago and Montreal are both original 6 teams, and Pittsburgh and Edmonton are expansion teams, and they both have 5 Stanley Cups. They both have, excuse me, when you both have five Stanley Cups, as expansion teams, you've done yourself pretty good. Because both of those teams are looking to get number 6 from their own number 5. And if they can't get off of number 5 this year, then we'll see where they go moving forward. But Sidney Crosby and Jake Guentzel continue to impress. Sidney Crosby, it happens to be his birthday tomorrow, and I see why he wears the number 87. And the game stats. 457 in Shea Weber scores. Artturi Lehkonen and Paul Byron on the assist. And the power play looked good for Pittsburgh in the first period. But they had the chances late in the game and they couldn't score. And I said to my Uncle Frank, I'm like, hey, listen, did Rick Tocchet get dressed up as Mark Recchi in this game? Patrick Hornqvist scores a power play goal at 8:40. And assisted by Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby. Jason Zucker scores for the second straight game, but this time a power play goal. Brian Russ and John Moreno, 9:39. Second period, Teddy Bluger, 5:34, assisted by Zach Astorius and Brandon Tanev. That was just basically all hustle by the fourth line. My dad's like, yeah, it's all grit. That's a typical fourth line goal. Jonathan Drouin, 10:13 mark second period, assisted by Ben Sherratt and Shea Weber. 15:50 Paul Byron, assisted by Nick Suzuki and Shea Weber. Third period, Jeff Petrie, 5:33, assisted by Ben Chariot and Philip Danault. And I'm going to say this, and I know my Uncle Frank and we discussed about how Carey Price sometimes, I guess when pressure mounts in the postseason, they kind of choke a little. He chokes a little bit, but if the Penguins actually had Carey Price in this series, this would be over. You think Murray would make some of these saves? Price has got the more durability. He made 30 saves last night compared to Matt Murray, who made 27. Yeah, that's why Montreal has a shot, because of Carey Price. I'd be disappointed, obviously, if the Pittsburgh Penguins lose, considering how much I like them as a fan and all, but it's like, it'd be a really bad loss for Pittsburgh. Just be a really bad series loss for them. And Jesperi Kotkaniemi is becoming a star in this series. And Jeff Petrie's got 2 game-winning goals. And I think Evgeny Malkin needs to finally wake up from his slump. Because they're going to need him tomorrow. They're going to be out golfing again. And another move they're going to have to make is, I think Mark Recchi's done. No, you're not going to fire Mike Sullivan. No, I like Mike Sullivan, but he used to receive a ton of criticism lately. And I personally don't blame the people. Pittsburgh media is all over him. And this is the worst that I've seen the Pittsburgh media all over him since he started becoming the coach of the Penguins. So this is bad. So this is like the worst I've seen the media get on Sullivan. Next up, what's number 4 on here? Round Robin. Where's the sound the alarm button for the Boston Bruins? Yes, it's kind of time to panic a little bit. Because, even though they won the President's Trophy, they can no longer be a 1 or a 2 with the loss against the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-2. I think this whole round robin thing for seeding was silly to begin with. They should have just kept it as Boston 1, and Tampa Bay 2, and Washington 3, and Philadelphia 4. And then in the West, you should have just kept it St. Louis 1, Colorado 2, Dallas 3. No, Vegas Golden Knights 3, and Dallas Stars 4. But because of the whole situation, they want to do round robin for points, make these games mean something. So, I guess it's paying off for some teams and it's not paying off for others. So as we are in the round robin standings, before I continue to recap Tampa Bay Boston, in the Western Conference, Colorado is at number 1, 2-0, record 4 points. Number 2, Vegas, 2 points, 1-0. St. Louis, number 3, they're 0-1, 0 points. Number 4, Dallas, 0 points, 0-2. In the East, number 1, Tampa Bay, 4 points, 2-0. Number 2, the Philadelphia Flyers, 2 points, 1-0. Number 3, the Washington Capitals, 0-1 with 1 point. Number 4, the Boston Bruins at 0-1. And if the Philadelphia Flyers get at least 1 point today, then they're guaranteed at least number 3. Here's what I find interesting. If the Flyers beat the Capitals today in regulation. Then the Tampa Bay-Philadelphia game will be for the number 1 seed. And the game between the Boston Bruins and the Washington Capitals, the loser, will be the number 4 seed. And it's looking like they may not even have to face Pittsburgh in that round. They may not even have to. But do you want to really face your first team? The Carolina Hurricanes, as I was just mentioning about them earlier? You want to face Carolina? I don't think so, but then if Pittsburgh finds a way to win the series, then we'll see what happens. Back to Boston and Tampa Bay. That first period, Tampa Bay dominated Boston, and Boston looked like utter garbage. The Tampa Bay scored 2 goals. Braden Point at the 7:33 mark, assisted by Nikita Kucherov and Andre Palat. Alex Killorn at the 10:32 mark, assisted by Victor Hedman and Tyler Johnson in the first period. There's also a ton of fighting and a ton of scraps in this game. And they said in the meetings that there are a lot of penalty minutes when these two teams played each other. Second period, Boston Bruins looked much better. Charlie McAvoy scores at the 16:43 mark, assisted by Torrey Krug and Patrice Bergeron. Third period, Boston, Chris Wagner, assisted by Zdeno Chara and Sean Kuraly, 1:47 in the period. But then Tyler Johnson scores at the 18:33 mark with 1:27 to go in regulation. Tyler Johnson, assisted by Yanni Gordon, Alex Killorn. So, Tyler Johnson is going to be one of those X factors in the playoffs. If Tyler Johnson could get his game going, then this Tampa Bay Lightning team's unbeatable. Steven Stamkos isn't playing yet because of his injuries, according to head coach John Cooper. Yeah, we got Tyler Johnson, the second line right now is centers? And Tyler Johnson, I just think he's going to be very key for them in order to win a Stanley Cup for the first time since 2004, 7 games against Calgary Flames. Andrei Vasilevskiy, 25 saves. Tuukka Rask, 32 saves for the Boston Bruins. He was finally fit to play for them in this game. So the Boston Bruins are, and he said it best after the game was over, you have to beat no matter who you play anyways. Well, he's right about that. But also, limping in the playoffs is also very dangerous. And it appears as if the Boston Bruins are already plagued by the President's Trophies curse. As the Tampa Bay Lightning, as the Washington Capitals, and as the Nashville Predators. Because let me say this. Those teams were infected by it. And then 1 year later, the Washington Capitals found a way to win it all. When the Washington Capitals won 2 consecutive of them. Because the Washington Capitals don't have to worry about another President's Trophy. And the Washington Capitals want to win another Stanley Cup this year. So does everybody else that's in the playoffs. Next up, was it the Florida Panthers and the New York Islanders yesterday? And I thought the Islanders were going to sweep, but the Florida Panthers stay alive for another day. And despite the Islanders trailing 3-1 in the game, I thought they were going to tie it in the third period. But they couldn't. They couldn't find a way to. So, the Florida Panthers were on the verge of getting swept, but they weren't. The New York Islanders had good looks late, but they fell short, though. Florida may be in even more trouble despite winning this game than New York. I thought the Islanders were going to go with Thomas Greiss instead of Semyon Varlamov Neto on a back-to-back situation. My Uncle Frank actually thought that. And then we were talking about there was no goal scored in the first period. Erik Haula scored a goal for the Florida Panthers in the second period at the 4:02 mark on the power play. It was assisted by Evgeny Dandonov and Mike Hoffman. The New York Islanders tied the game at 1 at the 16:26 mark by John Gabriel Pageau. It was assisted by Anthony Beauvillier. Mike Hoffman scored a power play goal for Florida just 41 seconds into the third period. It was assisted by Keith Yandel and Alexander Barkov. Brian Boyle scored unassisted 2:07 later at the 2:48 mark in the third period, though. with just 1:27 remaining regulation. 18:33 mark. Brock Nelson scored with an extra attacker on the ice, though. It was assisted by Ryan Pulock and Devin Tays. That goal by Nelson, it went off a Florida Panthers defenseman skate. Semyon Varlamov finished the game with 19 saves. Sergei Bobrovsky finished the game with 20 saves. The power play was 0 for 3 for the New York Islanders. The power play was 2 for 5 for the Florida Panthers. Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers scored a hat trick in Game 2. And they happened to lose to the Blackhawks 4-3 last night. Jonathan Tays has 4 goals in the series, and he scored the game-winning goal with 1:16 to go. And the Edmonton Oilers, just like the Pittsburgh Penguins as the number 5 seed, are now facing themselves with elimination. This is, as I've said, I don't know how good of a look this is, that the number 5 seeds, both of them are on the brink, and that all these other top-tier seeds are taking care of business other than the number 16 Nashville Predators. Because this is not a good look for those 3 teams that are serious Stanley Cup contenders. Is not a good look at all. And yes, I know the margin of hockey, playoff hockey, is very slim. I get it. But the fact that those teams, Nashville, Pittsburgh, and Edmonton, are in elimination is downright, I don't know if the right word's disgraceful, but disencouraging. It's very disencouraging that this is the case. And the fact that you might have top-tier franchises like the Rangers, Penguins, Oilers, and Predators, who are all going to be serious playoff contenders next year, potentially get the number 1 pick, is mind-baffling. But then yet here we are again in the year 2020, where it's the most weirdest year and the worst year of our miserable lives. That's what the year 2020 seems like it is. But at the same time, I guess it all comes in full circles. What do I mean? Said this to my brother Jake this morning about Alexis Lafreniere. Lafreniere started while he played his junior hockey in Rimouski. And the fact that the Pittsburgh Penguins may get the number 1 overall pick is crazy. Where did Sidney Crosby start his career in hockey? Rimouski. When he was drafted number 1 overall. And no, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theory guy here. I'm just stating facts of what I see. And if happens so to be it, as the old song, if it was meant to be, it's meant to be, by Baby and Florida Georgia Line, now it's stuck in my head. That's what it appears to be right now. If the Pittsburgh Penguins lose, which I hope not, and I want to see them win another title in the Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin era. But if it happens to so be, they have to reboot and get Alexis Lafreniere its life. We have to reboot in life sometimes. And maybe it's a good blessing in disguise for the Pittsburgh Penguins, but I'm not going to sit here and I'll be 50-50 on it. Half proud, half disappointed. But at the same time, it gives optimism for the future. But I'm about putting all the chips on the table now, though, too. I don't think they're sitting in there in that locker room. Teams like Pittsburgh, Edmonton, and Nashville is in there. We lose, we get Lafreniere. No, it's not guaranteed given what the way the lottery is. My Uncle Frank believes that it's gonna be the New York Rangers, but I'm not sold on it if the team like Pittsburgh, Edmonton, or Nashville lose. And another couple interesting teams, Winnipeg, if they lose, or Columbus loses, or Toronto loses, or Calgary loses, those are some serious contenders too. I mean, come on. He's going to wind up with the thing about Lafreniere is, unless the Arizona Coyotes lose the series to Nashville, Arizona gives that pick to the Devils, and I don't know if he wants to play with the Devils right now, but all the other organizations like, okay. Or if the Islanders somehow lose the series and he goes to the Islanders, that gets Matthew Barzal somebody. So this is going to be very tricky how this goes. So I'm curious to see, and I'm going to have more on that on Monday, at which 8 teams could potentially land Lafreniere. Is going to be the future Hartman Hartzell on one of these hockey clubs, but we'll see where it goes. Speaking of Winnipeg, and after they won their game 2, 3-2 against Calgary Flames, I thought they were going to be deeper than I thought, but then they absolutely got demolished 6-2. Calgary is deeper than Winnipeg is right now, though. Nonetheless, the Jets still have Mark Scheifele, Patrick Laine, and Mason Appleton. Those are 3 key big losses on the roster, though. Let's see, if any of those guys return for Game 4. I think they will win this game anyways, but then lose Game 5. Goals first period. Nikolai Ehlers, Winnipeg, 10:04 mark, assisted by Dmitry Kulikov and Nathan Bolu. Elias Lindholm for the Calgary Flames at the 10:22 mark, assisted by Eric Gustafsson and Sean Monahan. Second period, Michael Backlund, 5:37 mark for Calgary, scored a goal, assisted by Andrew Magnanapie. And Sean Monahan scored a power play goal for Calgary at 7:49 mark, assisted by Elias Lindholm and Johnny Gaudreau. Winnipeg, Andrew Kopp, assisted by Blake Wheeler and Niels Pionk on the power play, though, 8:09 mark, so that was 3-2 at the time. Then Calgary scored the next 3. Matthew Tkachuk at the 12:48 mark, assisted by Andrew Magnanapie and Michael Backlund. Third period, Milan Lucic power play goal, 8:28 mark, assisted by Dylan Dubé and Mark Giordano. Johnny Gaudreau, 17:41 mark, assisted by Sean Monahan. Goalies Cam Talbot, 34 saves for the Calgary Flames. I thought that David Rittich was going to start in this game for the Calgary Flames, though Connor Hellebuck, 26 saves for the Winnipeg Jets. Laurent Brossoit wasn't going to be an option for the Winnipeg Jets starting in this contest and game, though. Nonetheless, next up, the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Toronto Maple Leafs. So the Columbus Blue Jackets they were absolutely horrible in Game 2. Head coach John Tortorella said it at best. We sucked. Goals scored. Austin Matthews in the second period, assisted by Zach Hyman. It was a tipping goal, though, and it was redirected nonetheless 16 with 4 minutes to go, second period, 16-minute mark. Third period, John Tavares, 4:56, assisted by Travis Dermott and William Nylander. Morgan Riley empty net goal, 1917, assisted by Austin Matthews and Alexander Kerfoot. This came after a 15-minute delay where defenseman Jake Muzzin was taken off the ice on the stretcher, though he's out for the remainder of the season. Pierre-Luc Dubois cross-checked him and then landed into Oliver Bjorkstrand's leg, though. Jonas Korpisalo, 36 saves. Frederick Anderson, 21 saves. So, the next question is the Metropolitan Division on track for 6 teams in the final 16 Stanley Cup playoffs in the Eastern Conference? Columbus, we got to see how Game 3 goes. New York Islanders, they look good. Pittsburgh Penguins are in trouble. Carolina Hurricanes advance, and the Philadelphia Flyers and Washington Capitals are obviously in because they're in the round robin play. Excuse me. So, we'll see what happens. That'd be cool to see 6, but I'm not sure if we're going to get it now. We're going to probably maybe now see at least 3 teams from the Atlantic, maybe 4, depending how these series shape out. And there's some key games that I will be talking about in just a couple of minutes. The future NHL schedule for the remainder of the weekend. And I'm probably going to recap some of that stuff on Monday before I'm going to have to talk about the series previews in probably each round. So that's going to be something very interesting to keep an eye on. I basically chewed your ears off for the last 39 minutes or so about the NHL. I mean, I think it's great that I get to talk about playoff hockey on the air. Considering the fact, even though it's August 6th, I'm just happy about it, even though I'm not big into baseball right now. So moving on to the NBA. Los Angeles Clippers, Dallas Mavericks tonight. Los Angeles Lakers, Houston Rockets will be 2 games on TNT. I'll share the schedules in a minute, but Kawhi Leonard, the heartbeat and heart and soul of the Los Angeles Clippers. Him, Paul George, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, triple-double machine versus Sacramento Kings in the bubble, though, in the Walt Disney Show Resorts, though, in Orlando, Florida, nonetheless. Kristaps Porzingis, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden here now in this situation, though, nonetheless. What I mean by that is those are the key stars that will be on TNT tonight. Maybe I'll tune in some more basketball tonight. There's a little less hockey on today. They're not going to be starting noon, so not till 2:30. And I'll get to those schedules in just a couple of minutes. So maybe I'll be a little bit more relaxed on stuff today. We'll see how it goes. But I get to enjoy basically watching live sports again. Even if the Pittsburgh Penguins lose, I'm obviously still watching the Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean, it's the best thing to watch. And I'm basically waiting on when the NBA starts the playoffs. I know I miss sports, but it's just like how hockey jumped into playoff intensity right away. It's like I feel like I have more interesting to watch that than the NBA regular season, and I'm going to get to the NBA standings in just a minute. So I'm curious to see how this is all going to play out tonight. And so now let me get into the NBA future games, and then I will jump into the standings. So the future games for the NBA is as follows. Thursday, August 6th today, New Orleans Pelicans vs. Sacramento Kings at 1:30. Give me the Pelicans. Miami Heat vs. Milwaukee Bucks at 4 p.m. I'm going to take the Bucks. But if the Miami Heat win this game, sound the alarm for the Bucks. No, that was cold. The Bucks should be concerned if they lose to the Heat today. 4 p.m. Indiana Pacers vs. Phoenix Suns. I'm going to take the Pacers. Although the Phoenix Suns just upset the Clippers the other day. And the Pacers are actually looking pretty good. I took the Pacers. TJ Warren. There was a meme about TJ Warren looking like LeBron in the bubble. Playing like LeBron. He's on fire right now. Los Angeles Clippers vs. Dallas Mavericks 6:30. I was just mentioning. Portland Trail Blazers vs. Denver Nuggets at 8 p.m. Two of the hottest teams in the Western Conference right now. Have you seen how the way Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic have been playing? And I'll get to the standings in a minute, and I'll tell you how far Denver is really back. The Los Angeles Lakers and the Houston Rockets at 9 p.m. I'll take Denver tonight to beat Portland. Clippers will beat the Mavericks tonight. And I think the Rockets may pull off an upset tonight against the Lakers. Lakers got the 1 seed wrapped up. Friday, August 7th, Utah Jazz vs. San Antonio Spurs at 1 p.m. Spurs have played well in the bubble. I'll take the Spurs. Thunder vs. Grizzlies. Grizzlies that struggled 4 p.m. on Friday. I'll take the Thunder. Sacramento Kings vs. Brooklyn Nets 5 p.m. I'll take the Brooklyn Nets. Orlando Magic vs. Philadelphia 76ers 6:30. I'll take the Sixers in a close one. I think the Magic could pull off an upset. I know a lot of people are upset with Brett Brown right now in the Sixers. Washington Wizards vs. New Orleans Pelicans 8 p.m. I'll take the Pelicans. And Boston Celtics vs. Toronto Raptors 9 p.m. I'll take the Raptors. Saturday, August 8th. Clippers vs. Blazers, I'll take the Clippers. Utah vs. Denver, 3:30, I'll take Denver. Lakers vs. Pacers, I'm going to take the Pacers. I don't think the Lakers really give a rip at this point in the regular season. They may just rest Anthony Davis and LeBron James before the playoffs start. Phoenix Suns vs. Miami Heat, 7:30, I'll take the Miami Heat. The Milwaukee Bucks and Dallas Mavericks, 8:30, I'll take an upset. I'll take the Dallas Mavericks. Giannis Antetokounmpo vs. Luka Doncic should be an absolute dandy. Sunday, August 9th, Washington Wizards vs. Oklahoma City Thunder, 12:30 p.m. I'll take the Thunder. Memphis Grizzlies vs. Toronto Raptors at 2 p.m. I'll take the Raptors. San Antonio Spurs vs. New Orleans Pelicans, 3 p.m. I'll take the Pelicans. In this one, Orlando Magic vs. Boston Celtics, 5 p.m. I'll take the Celtics. Philadelphia 76ers vs. Portland Trailblazers, 6:30. I'll take the Portland Trailblazers. Houston Rockets vs. Sacramento Kings at 8 p.m. I'll take the Houston Rockets. And the Brooklyn Nets vs. the Los Angeles Clippers at 9 p.m. I'll take the Clippers. That's what the schedule is. Now let me tell you the standings and how it looks across the NBA. The Milwaukee Bucks are 54-14 in the number 1 seed. Number 2 seed, the Toronto Raptors at 49-18. Number 3 seed, the Boston Celtics at 45-23. Number 4 seed, the Miami Heat at 43-25. Number 5 seed, the Indiana Pacers at 42-26. Number 6 seed, the Philadelphia 76ers at 41-27. Number 7 seed, the Brooklyn Nets at 32-36. And the number 8 seed, the Orlando Magic at 32-37. That appears to seem all to be locked up. As of right now, Magic versus Bucks is 8-1. I would take the Bucks in a sweep. Nets versus Raptors, 7-2. I would take the Raptors in 5. I think the Nets would win a game. Sixers versus Celtics. I would take the Sixers in 6. The Sixers beat the Celtics 3 times. And then the Pacers and the Heat. I'll take the Heat in 6. But I wouldn't be surprised if that series lasted 7 games. And now here's what is a very interesting thing that I saw in the standings this morning. Number 9 in the East. And they were not invited in the bubble. The Charlotte Hornets at 25-42. The Wizards, who were not in 9th at the time before the bubble restart, they're now number 10 at 24-44. Can you believe it that the Washington Wizards have a worse record now than the Charlotte Hornets? Number 11, the Chicago Bulls at 22-43. Number 12, the New York Knicks at 21-45. Number 13, Detroit Pistons at 20-48. No, 20 and... Or did I say, is that 40? Might be 46. Number 14, the Atlanta Hawks at 20-47. Number 15, the Cleveland Cavaliers at 19-46. How does a Washington Wizards team who had a shot to make the playoffs not even... They slipped... Oh, yeah, because they don't have John Wall and Bradley Beal. That's why they didn't make it. That's why they seem to be off a cliff. The Washington Wizards should be embarrassed of themselves. David Beatrice also didn't come back. The Washington Wizards need a complete rebuild, and the Washington Wizards, I guess, are just not there. Yeah, so let's see how good what the Washington Wizards do. Will they win a game? That'd be pretty embarrassing if they didn't. Now the Western Conference standings. Los Angeles Lakers 51-16, number 1. Number 2, the Los Angeles Clippers at 45-22. Number 3, the Denver Nuggets at 45-23. They're only back a half game now. Number 4, the Utah Jazz at 42-25. Number 5, the Oklahoma City Thunder at 42-25. Number 6, the Houston Rockets at 42-25. Number 7, the Dallas Mavericks at 41-29. Number 8, the Memphis Grizzlies at 32-37. Now this is where it gets interesting. Number 9, the Portland Trailblazers at 31-38. Number 10, the San Antonio Spurs at 29-38. Number 11, the New Orleans Pelicans at 29-38. Number 12, the Phoenix Suns at 29-39. Number 13, the Sacramento Kings 28-39. Number 14, the Minnesota Timberwolves at 19-45. And number 15, Golden State Warriors at 15-50. So between number 8 and number 13, it's not a big discrepancy. I'm curious to see how Adam Silver is going to decide these tiebreakers, because 8 and 9 have to be within 4 games of each other. And this is very interesting right now, because Memphis is going down, and Portland and San Antonio and New Orleans and Phoenix, Sacramento are all on their way up. So let's see how the Western Conference standings shape out to be nonetheless. So here's the NHL schedule for future games. Thursday, today, at 2:30, Vancouver Canucks versus Minnesota Wild, Game 3. I'm not sure. I don't know if I really want to make predictions on the NHL. But if I had to take a guess, I think Minnesota will win Game 3. Calgary, Winnipeg. Winnipeg wins tonight. That's at 10:30. Toronto, Columbus, Game 3 at 8 p.m. I'll take the Blue Jackets. Vegas, St. Louis, 6:30 p.m. I'll take the Blues in this game. Round robin. Washington Capitals and Philadelphia Flyers at 4 p.m. I'll take the Capitals to win this game. I like the Capitals a lot in this game today against the Flyers. We'll see. Friday, August 7th. Vancouver, Minnesota, 10:45. Vancouver wins Game 4. Toronto, Columbus. Game 4, I'll take the Maple Leafs. Nashville versus Arizona. Nashville, Islanders, Panthers. The Islanders close it out. 12 p.m. Minnesota's 10:45 tomorrow. Columbus is 8 p.m. tomorrow. Nashville is 2:30 tomorrow. Pittsburgh, Montreal, 4 p.m. tomorrow. I think the Penguins bounce back. I think Mike Sullivan's going to make a lot of lineup changes. Islanders at noon. I'll take the Islanders. I already said the Islanders. The Edmonton Oilers, 6:45 p.m. against the Blackhawks. I think the Oilers win this game. Saturday, August 8th. Winnipeg, Calgary Flames win Game 5. Montreal, Pittsburgh. I think there will be a Game 5. I think Pittsburgh will win. Vegas, Colorado. I'll take the Avalanche. I think they're the best team out west. Philadelphia, Tampa Bay. I'll take the Lightning. I think they're the best team in the East, maybe the NHL right now. There's no New York Rangers, Carolina Hurricanes game. That series is over. And I think there's going to be a Game 5 in Chicago. Edmonton, I'll take the Oilers to win that one. Sunday, August 9th. Dallas, St. Louis. I'll take the Blues. Columbus, Toronto in a Game 5. I'll take the Jackets. Arizona, Nashville. I'll take Nashville. Game 5, Minnesota, Vancouver. I'll take the Canucks. Bruins, Caps. I'm taking the Caps. I don't like what I see from the Bruins. And Florida. And I don't think we're going to see Game 5 with Florida and New York Islanders. So I don't think we have to worry about that. So use promo code TroubleZ Sports, all caps, for deposit bonus up to $1,000 for my bookie. So in the final 6 minutes of the show here, enough of torture of the NHL and the NBA with you guys. Excuse me. So I'm going to go with the NFL. So Tre'Davious White is most likely not going to play this year for the Buffalo Bills amongst coronavirus concerns. He is one of their best corners in the league. And then lastly but not least, Josh Allen versus Carson Wentz. Well, my brother Jake told me to talk about this, and my dad couldn't understand the rankings either on the NFL list when it came to the top 100. And I know the list is like a week 2 or old already, but I feel like I wanted to talk about Monday, but I had all those NHL and NBA topics. Now I feel like it's a good time to touch on this in the final couple of minutes. So Josh Allen is ranked 87th on the list. Carson Wentz didn't make it at all. Neither did Matt Ryan, though, the Atlanta Falcons. So here's the question. What do the players see with Josh Allen that they don't see with Carson Wentz? Well, someone said that they vote this stuff in this November. I think it's ridiculous. I was telling that my brother Jake, and it was like, why? I said something to my dad too about it. I was like, why do they vote this stuff in November? And that's very interesting, though, that they do something like that, though, that they vote on this stuff early. So here's the entire list for the quarterback position. Here it goes. Number 90, Kyler Murray, quarterback, Arizona Cardinals. Number 87, Josh Allen, quarterback, Buffalo Bills. Number 68, Ryan Tannehill, quarterback, Tennessee Titans. Number 58, Kirk Cousins, quarterback, Minnesota Vikings. Number 46, Dak Prescott, quarterback, Dallas Cowboys. Number 43, Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback, San Francisco 49ers. Number 20, Deshaun Watson, quarterback, Houston Texans. Number 16, Aaron Rodgers, quarterback, Green Bay Packers. Number 14, Tom Brady, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 12, Drew Brees, quarterback, New Orleans Saints. Number 4, Patrick Mahomes, quarterback, Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2, Russell Wilson, quarterback, Seattle Seahawks. And number 1, Lamar Jackson, quarterback, Baltimore Ravens, nonetheless. So Patrick Mahomes now has a fire lit under himself. He on his Twitter page after he wrote it, pencil mark. That's what he tweeted. Colin Cowherd, Fox Sports 1 says he gets it, and I couldn't agree with him more. And the fact that Patrick Mahomes is rated as the third best quarterback and fourth best player in the NFL overall is ridiculous. Patrick Mahomes led a comeback 3 times in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson can't even lead a team from 7 points down. Lamar Jackson has to play with a lead. Lamar Jackson has to have the perfect environment, and Lamar Jackson doesn't find a way to win playoff games, the Ravens will replace him. And you think I'm joking? And no, I'm not hating on Lamar Jackson. The fact that Lamar Jackson's rated the number one player over Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes is a downright joke. It's a joke. Mahomes is the best player in the NFL. I'll take Russell Wilson over Lamar Jackson. The Seahawks would have won the Super Bowl with Russell Wilson as their quarterback. If Lamar Jackson's the quarterback for the Seahawks and not the Ravens, are the Seahawks even a playoff team? And no, it's not, and I'm just stating facts. Lamar Jackson doesn't have as much to work with, a lot less decent offensive line. Russell Wilson doesn't have the offensive line that Lamar Jackson has. And Russell Wilson does a lot of things on the run. Russell Wilson's the best player on the Seattle. And Patrick Mahomes is the best player on the Chiefs. And Russell Wilson's the best player and the most underrated player in the NFL. And so Lamar Jackson's the best. I guess the players see him as the best player in the NFL, though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time here. Thanks for tuning in Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. I hope you all enjoyed the rest of your day and your weekend. I'll be back around the same time on Monday. I'll be going over some NBA and NHL topics, 2020 NFL regular season, more MLB topics, though, nonetheless. In 2020, use promo code 12Z Sports, all cash for deposit bonus up to
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Thursday, August 6th, 2020 episode of Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only, King of the Ice himself, Philly Pete, and we are live on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV, channel 761. This show, as always, is sponsored by MyBookie. Today, please make sure you sign up for an account by going to mybookie.ag. When making an account for MyBookie, please make sure you use the promo code 12Ounce Sports. That's 12OZ Sports when signing up today, and they will match your first deposit up to $1,000. You really don't want to miss your opportunity here. We are cashing large this NHL playoff season already. With all the plays I've been giving out to everyone out there, we are cashing large. So start today. Go to mybookie.ag, make an account. Use the promo code 12Ounce Sports, all one word, and they will match your deposit up to $1,000. They have everything else. Every other sport is out there. They also have an online casino as well if you're willing to put down a couple bucks on a blackjack hand while you're watching a hockey game. Whatever it may be, mybookie.ag is the way to go. Also, Zingo TV. Please make sure you are installing that Zingo TV app on your TV, of course. And by doing so, you have to make sure that you not only do you create an account on Zingo TV, but when you are creating an account, make sure you use the promo code 12Ounce, 12OZ. That is it. Simple as that. And you will be streaming live all of our phenomenal shows that we have on 12 Ounce Sports, including yours truly, Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only, of course, myself, Philly Pete. So again, channel 761. Tune in now. You will be hearing my lovely, lovely voice right now. Thank you for all the continued support and appreciation. It does not go unnoticed, and I truly love all you guys out there, all you ladies and gentlemen that have been tailing my hockey play so far within the first 5 days of this NHL playoffs. We are going large, and we are cashing large, and last night was phenomenal. What a great day yesterday. I mean, don't get me wrong. The entire NHL playoffs has been phenomenal so far for everybody, clients and the free Twitter plays that I post on my timeline. But yesterday was an absolute killer for the bookies out there. I know they're hating all of us right now. Let's start off big time with the Panthers money line, Coyotes money line parlay, plus 350. That is a cash. Congratulations to all that held that plus 350 money line parlay. That's a great money basically to start the afternoon with. So that's a bang play right there. Boom. You put down $100, you are exactly up $350 $350 already into the afternoon and nightcap. So you got a little bit of house money to play with. So congratulations to that plus 350 parlay winners. Those that tailed, congrats. And what can I say? The client play was the Panthers over 5. So that was an unfortunate push. But hey, listen, that's the way it goes. So clients had the they had the over 5, and hey, it pushed. So hey, it is what it is. It's all good, no worries whatsoever. So hey, it is what it is. So Panthers, Islanders push at 5, and for the clients, that's a push to start off for the afternoon. But the plus 350 money line parlay hits for everyone else. And real quick, let me go over the client plays. Client plays went 3-0-1. They practically swept the board. Besides that lovely push from Florida. But hey, listen, we had a hell of a night. The under 5.5, Tampa Bay and Boston. That was a sweat in the last couple minutes. Tampa Bay scored at the end there, and hey, listen, we ended up getting a 3-2 victory. Not only did the clients cash out the under 5.5 goals, but I did give out on my show Tampa Bay money line at plus 105. That was a winner. And those that parlayed the plus 1.5 goal line was a winner as well. So congratulations to those that tuned in and cashed out with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Clients, like I said, under 5.5 was a winner for them as well. The Oilers and the Hawks, obviously, an easy over. I've been saying this all series long. You have to take the over in all these games, regardless what the line is. For all I know, it's going to be another 6.5 line. It could even be 7. We will see. But clients, Twitter, are cashing out the first period overs and the full game overs since game 1 of this series. I've been saying it all along. This is going to be a goal fest of the series. You got to take advantage of it. Game 4, I expect a lot of the same. So you have Edmonton on the brink of elimination. You know they got to score. So there you have it. I want to keep rolling with the overs as well as you all should as well. So clients cash out the Oilers Hawks over 6 with a 4-3 victory for the Blackhawks. And then the Penguins and Canadiens over 5, another easy winner as well. That was an easy cash by the first period. No ifs, ands, or ors about that. That was an easy winner. So a recap of the client plays last night. Oilers Hawks over 6 was a winner. Pens Habs over 5 was a winner. Tampa Bay Boston under 5.5 was a winner. And that lovely, lovely push from the Panthers Islanders yesterday. So clients 3-0-1. Hell of a night. Hell of a day overall. And we move on from there real quick. Now, I know that I did post out on my show, on my list, Tampa plus 1.5 and the Dallas Stars plus 1.5. I know that did not cash. I know it did not. It did not. As well as the Oilers Pens money line parlay that did not cash either. That was on my timeline. But again, you got to tune into the show so you get all the angles and plays that I like. You're going to hear it first from me so you can get the plays in that you want to single out, before lines move. So this is why you listen to the show. You get all the top-notch angles, breakdowns, leans from Philly Pete, of course, yours truly. And those that tuned in got a special surprise. I did say a half unit on the Blackhawks Canadiens money line parlay that paid out a plus 420, ladies and gentlemen. That is plus 420. That was a cash out. So 2 big money parlays cashed out for yours truly, for all you out there. So I'm glad I could put money into your pockets. Habs, Hawks, plus 420 in the money line parlay that cashed out. That was a half a unit play for everyone, as I mentioned on the show yesterday. And, of course, the Panthers Coyotes plus 350 in the money line parlay as well. Those pockets are getting deeper and deeper with some greenage, and I love it, and I love it, and I will always love it. So those that hit those 2 parlays, congratulations. I know your pockets are thick at this point right now, and bookies are hating you. That is the point of this show. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, and like I said, I know the Oilers Penguins money line parlay. Again, you have to roll with it. You got to roll with it. That was plus 175, and unfortunately, that did not cash out, and it is what it is. So, real quick, the Twitter plays that I had on from yesterday: Predators Coyotes over 5. That was a push. Lightning plus 1.5 Stars, plus 1.5 Parlay at plus 105. That was a loss. Pens Oilers, obviously, plus 185 on the money line parlay was a loss. But the Oilers Hawks over 1.5 first period was a winner. Again, you got to keep rolling with these high scoring offenses. So, in general, Twitter plays go 2-1 with a grand total of plus 2.5 units. So you putting down $100 on all these games, you are cashing out $250. So hey, let's go. Let's start off. Let's get into some high money right before the weekend here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it. Clients as well, 3-0-1. They go, of course, 3 plus 3 units on the evening, and we are rocking and rolling. So now my overall recap and my record as it stands right now: 548 wins, 384 losses, and lovely 15 pushes. That gives me a grand total of plus 147.3 units. Ladies and gentlemen, numbers don't lie. They don't lie. My numbers don't lie, and they never have for the past 2 years that I've been capping the NHL. Last year, real quick, those newcomers that are tuning into my show, last year I had over 85 units, including playoffs and season. That's where I ended. This season, I'm trying to get that double by the time the playoffs are over. It's going to be tough, but hey, we'll take 147.3 units to the bank and ship it anywhere across the world. So let's go. Another day today. And unfortunately, this is my last show for the week. So get these leans and get these angles for today's games. I will tweet them out, of course. Friday, tomorrow's games, I don't have the show tomorrow, unfortunately, but I will have my plays as usual on the Twitter for everybody as well. Clients that signed up this morning, thank you so much for your love and support. It's truly appreciated. Again, it never goes unnoticed, and I will get to you after the show today. One play has already been sent out to the clients for this afternoon's game between the Minnesota Wild and the Vancouver Canucks. So let's get into it right now. Let's get into it. Why not? Let's kickstart it. But first and foremost, again, before I talk about today's games, mybookie.ag. Make sure you sign up with an account for mybookie.ag. When doing so, make sure you use the promo code 12ounce sports. That's 12OZ sports, all one word when signing up for today, and they will cash you out and deposit, or I should say they will match your deposit up to $1,000, because they will be cashing you out once you hit all my plays today. Because I know a bunch of you out there have been DMing me out the ass, and I know it's just so much traffic going on, but again, it doesn't go unnoticed. I will get to all you guys after this show. I appreciate the love and support. A lot of cashers. I had a couple guys reach out to me saying how they cashed out both parlays, the plus 350 and the plus 420, and that's what I'm here for you all. I'm here to give back to everybody that tunes into my show and follows my plays. If it wasn't for you all out there, my family, my Twitterverse family, my client family, if it wasn't for those in the East and the West, hell, all across the world that are tuning in, I would not be here today. So I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for continued support and appreciation. Again, it doesn't go unnoticed, and I love each and every one of you. So thank you for tuning in for today's episode of Pete's Power Plays, August 6th, live on 12ounce sports and Zingo TV. Tune in now, channel 761. My lovely voice is on the air right now. But again, mybookie.ag, use the promo code 12ounce sports, 12OZ sports, all one word. When making your first deposit today, they will match your deposit up to $1,000. Let's cash out again at mybookie.ag today. Zingo TV, again, those that do not have the app, download the app right now. Put it, and then of course you have to create an account with Zingo TV. When doing so, make sure you use the promo code 12ounce, 12OZ. Simple as that. You'll be good to go, and you'll be streaming live all of our phenomenal shows that we have on 12ounce sports, including yours truly, Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only King of the Ice himself, Philly Pete. And again, channel 761, as I am live on the air right now. So, my West Coast family, good morning. Get that cup of Joe ready for some good plays this afternoon and today and tonight. And my lunch breakers out east, thank you for tuning in, and let's get it started. Vancouver, Minnesota Wild, let's get the ball rolling in this game here. What can I say? I know Minnesota is such a gutsy team, okay? I love Minnesota, And I just truly think that this is too early of a game for Vancouver, honestly. They're used to playing all their games later on. This is a 2:30 puck drop in the East. It's 11:30 in the morning out west. Vancouver is not used to playing that. This is advantage Minnesota for me. I love the Wild. I like how they've been playing. Give me the Wild money line at minus 120. 60% of the money is on the money line for Minnesota. Now, if you're feeling iffy about the money line, if you're not too sure on the money line, take the puck line at plus 1.5. But I highly recommend you parlay that with a team that I will be talking about next game. I will be talking about that in a little bit. But Minnesota puck line plus 1.5, if you want to do that, highly recommend parlaying that because it is too juicy. I see minus 250s across the board here. And now when I do talk about my plays, I have about 10 books that I have up. I do go by majority. So there you have it. So when everything's said and done here, in conclusion, Minnesota on the money line at minus 120. I do love this. I also am feeling, again, game 1 went under, game 2 went over. This is a tough bet here when it comes to the over-under. I'm trending lightly on the under 5.5. A couple books here have under 6. Again, I go by trends in majority of the books. About 75% of my books here, about 7 of them, 7 out of the 10 are on 6, which is crazy for me. And the other 3 are on 5.5. So if you have 6 or 5.5, I like the under 5.5. Small, light trend on that. Minnesota Wild money line is a much stronger play for me. And of course, if you want to take them in a puck line parlay, please do so as well as the plus 1.5. So I'm all over Minnesota today. I'm also on the under, very light, as I said. And that's there. There you have it. Minnesota is a gutsy team. I feel like they have more heart than Vancouver at this point in the series. And I think this is it. I mean, I really do think Minnesota's going to come out today and win this game. Again, it's just Vancouver hasn't even had their cup of coffee yet. So I really think that this is advantage Minnesota. And again, I am on Minnesota as we go. Next up, 4 o'clock game out there in Toronto. The Washington Capitals versus yours truly, the Broad Street Bullies themselves, the Philadelphia Flyers, in a seeding round robin game 2 of 4 for the Philadelphia Flyers. They manhandled the Boston Bruins in the first game, as we saw. And you know what? I'm taking them again. The Philadelphia Flyers, I've been riding their train, of course, before the pandemic happened. But again, I'm all over the Flyers. Flyers money line at minus 105. Some lines are at plus 105. This is basically a pick'em game when everything's said and done here. So minus 105, plus 105. If you have the plus side, it's a good dog. Obviously, you get a little bit more extra money for your buck there. But again, either way, it's still a pick'em game, and I'm all over the Flyers. Like the Flyers on the money line, minus 105. It's about 50-50. Right now, I'm seeing 48% of the money on Philly, 52% of the money on Washington when it comes to the money line. Over-under is at 5.5. Some books are even at 6 here. This is a tough game. And if you have 6 here, which is what I have, 9 out of my 10 books have the 6th line for the Philly game. I'm leaning on the under 6. Again, small leans for these round-robin games. I like the unders. Just like yesterday, we cashed out the Avalanche Stars under 5.5. That was a 4-0 final. There you go. That was talked about in the show as well. Again, this is a game where I could see a 3-2 sort of game. And whatever it may be, a worst comes to worst, it could even push at a 4-2 win. But under 6, very light trend here. I'm on the Flyers money line. Now, I just mentioned Minnesota on the puck line with a parlay plus 1.5. Take the Flyers to parlay with them as well. Give me the Flyers puck line plus 1.5. Give me the Minnesota Wild puck line plus 1.5. And that will basically pay you plus 120. So $100 pays you 120. Again, a little bit of value for that parlay if you want to play it safe. But once again, Flyers money line under 6, light trend under 6. And the Flyers plus 1.5 on the puck line in a parlay with the Minnesota Wild plus 1.5 puck line. Moving on. 6:30 game tonight. The Vegas Golden Knights versus the St. Louis Blues. Again, this is going to be a good matchup between the two here. And it's going to be a really tough call. Who's going to win this game? Another round-robin game for sure. I really love everything about this. And, it's going to be good. It's good. And I'm going with the over 5.5 for sure. That is a more of a moderate to stronger lean for these two teams here. We know Vegas has been scoring. We know St. Louis can score. And the over 5.5 just makes a lot of sense here. I do like the over here. This is going to be more of a high trend play for me. And we saw Vegas play really, really well against Dallas. We did big time. St. Louis played good against Colorado. And you know what? Again, if I had to take a pick right now, I would say St. Louis. I would take St. Louis on the money line here at -105. And again, this is really, really light here. Small trend on St. Louis Blues money line. Again, hell, if you want to go crazy, take the puck line for Minnesota, Philly, and St. Louis. That's how I'm feeling right now. But I have another puck line parlay that I want to talk about. So that I have two separate puck line parlays going out. Minnesota, Philly, of course. I like St. Louis puck line parlay along with another team that I will be talking about next for the 8 o'clock matchup. But when everything's said and done here, I like Vegas, St. Louis over 5.5. I like St. Louis small on the money line, and I like them, of course, in the puck line parlay. Now, both teams are not really good puck line covers, especially St. Louis. They're 13-22 when covering the puck line. Okay, Vegas is only 16-18 when covering the puck line. So this is back and forth, as we know. But I do tend to see a lot of goals in this game here. That's why I'm really heavily leaning on this over 5.5 game here tonight in St. Louis. And of course, St. Louis on the small money line. Again, these round robin games are just so tough to call. So that's why I'm leaning more on the over 5.5. So there you have it for Vegas and St. Louis. Now, talking about the St. Louis Blues puck line +1.5. Match that up with Columbus Blue Jackets +1.5 on the puck line. I like this as a second puck line parlay. Same odds as the Philly, Minnesota. This is going to be about a little bit more because Columbus is a dog, a +130 dog. So this is more of a +140, +150 situation here from what I am seeing and adding up here as a puck line. That's not bad. So Blues +1.5, Columbus +1.5. They are playing really good right now against Toronto. Of course, minus the game the other day. But they are a gutsy team. They're playing with a lot of heart. And I just like the way this Columbus Blue Jackets team has been playing against the insane three-headed horse of Toronto with Marner, Tavares, and Austin Matthews there in Toronto. So when everything's said and done here, I like Columbus +1.5 in the puck line, parlayed with the St. Louis Blues puck line at +1.5. You should get that in a parlay for +140, probably a little bit closer to +150. That is some good value odds there. And I'm leaning highly on the over 5.5 here as well. So I think these two teams, like I said, under galore the first two games, I think these teams are going to finally come out of their shell. This is a pivotal game 3, obviously. We know that. And I do expect to see some goals in this game as well. And real quick, Toronto, 60% of the money is on their money line at -150. 40% of the money is on Columbus at +130. This is not bad of a money line play situation either here for Columbus at +130. I kind of like that as well. But play it safe. If you want to take the money line, that would be a half unit play for me for Columbus. But I like them better in a puck line parlay, of course, with St. Louis, or just straight up if you want to, if you have that sort of money to put out. But strongly in here, over 5.5 goals for Columbus and Toronto. Both teams are 4-6 in their last 10 when it comes to the overs. I know it's not the best, but I think the first two games have gone over. I'm thinking we get some goals here, and I like the over 5.5. Now, Toronto 18-18 in the last 36 when covering the puck line. Columbus 15-21 when covering the puck line in their last 36. So again, it's not bad. I'm leaning more Columbus's way, but again, strongly is on the over 5.5. So, without ado, Columbus, 40% of the money on the money line. I'm going with that small half unit play on the money line +130. The puck line +1.5 parlay with St. Louis puck line that should pay +140, +150-ish, and the over 5.5 for the Toronto Columbus game there in Toronto. That's an 8 o'clock game there tonight, and that should be fun. A lot of good fireworks. Definitely a nice prime time game there. And last but not least, we are going down to back to Edmonton, I should say, for Game 4, Calgary and Winnipeg. And man, this game is going to be Winnipeg again. This is Winnipeg's all or nothing game here. It's a chance to redeem themselves and hopefully tie the series up. A lot of injuries. Calgary is starting to find their groove after winning in Game 3. And to be honest, I think it's going to be too much. I think the Flames close this out against Winnipeg. The money line is a little bit juicy at minus 160. Some books even have minus 165. But I'm going to go with the Calgary Flames here at minus 160 on the money line. 50%, it's a 50-50 split here between the money lines for each squad. Winnipeg Jets, of course, if plus 140 on the money line, it's a good odd to take, but I just really think that Calgary, I'll be shocked if Calgary does not close it out tonight. I know we all know that they can't close out games, and I think I said it last time, and they actually won that game. So maybe this is a chance where we actually get a clincher. Like, let the Flames extinguish the Winnipeg Jets here tonight. You see how I did that? Extinguish, the Flames. Okay. But anyway, Calgary Flames here tonight. I do like them. Minus 160. The nightcap, 10:30 puck drop out in there in Edmonton. So without further ado, again, in conclusion there, Calgary Flames money line at minus 160. I like them to win. As juicy as it is, I like it. Small play on the puck line, on Flames puck line minus 1.5. You're going to get some good odds there. I believe that's plus 200. Some of these books here are plus 175. Some are plus 200. So I think before the puck drop, you're going to get probably plus 175 for the minus 1.5 for Calgary. But I truly do think that the Flames do put out the Jets here tonight. Jets had a good game too. I'll give it to them. But the injuries it does take advantage. And this is when Calgary has to cash out. And they don't want a Game 5. They don't want no Game 5. End it now. Don't lose your momentum. Okay, you got the Game 3 in your pocket now. You got the Mo. You got the Mo for Game 4. And that's why I'm going with Calgary. Calgary money line minus 160. I'll take the puck line minus 1.5 as well for the positive odds. A little bit bang for your buck. And you know what? I know the game went over 5.5 last time. I'm going to go with the under in this game here. Under 5.5 for Calgary and Winnipeg. Now, it's in order to make the grade here, but of course that this is the way to go. It's just the significance between these two teams have always trended under. Of course, besides last game, which was a 6-3 Flames win, went well over. But again, the under is 4-1-1 in the Jets' last 6 games as an underdog. The under is also 3-1-1 in the Flames' last 5 games as a favorite. So, the numbers don't lie. The under is a big trend for tonight's game. The under is also 4-1 in the last 5 meetings. Of course, the last game being the over in the last 5. But again, this is another, to me, I just feel like this over-under should be at 5. But the fact that 5.5 we're getting from minus 120 through Pinnacle, through a bunch of other books that I have up right now, under 5.5 I think is the way to go. So also Calgary, when covering the puck line, 22-16 in their last 38 games. So this is why I do like a small slight lean on the puck line minus 1.5 for Calgary. They will close this up. I could see a 4-1 victory here for Calgary. That would cover everything. And rest assured that should be it. So let us go over everything real quick that we have for tonight and today. Games start at 2:30. Of course, 2:30 out in the east, 11:30 a.m. out in the west. I'm all over Minnesota. Minnesota money line. I'm also on the puck line, a plus 1.5. Going into Philly, Capitals, Flyers on the money line. The under 6 and the parlay between the Minnesota Wild puck line and the Flyers puck line that should pay you about plus 120. Vegas, St. Louis, I'm on the slight small money line on the Blues, but I'm more heavily leaning on the over 5.5 that it will be more of a play for me tonight. So over 5.5 for St. Louis, Vegas. The St. Louis Blues small money line play here. You're going to be parlaying that puck line with Columbus Blue Jackets puck line plus 1.5. That pays out plus 140, plus 150-ish. If you do St. Louis, Columbus puck line parlay. Again, over 5.5, Toronto and the Blue Jackets. I really, really like the over in this game too. I think we finally see some bust out of your shell goals from these teams that are willing to fire out. And let's go. It's game 3. I expect some fireworks in this game as well. So Columbus Blue Jackets puck line parlay with the Blues plus 1.5. The over 5.5. The over 5.5 for Toronto and Columbus there in Toronto. And lately, and last but not least, the late night, the Calgary Flames should and I believe will close out the series against the Jets. Give me the Calgary Flames money line at minus 160. Give me the puck line minus 1.5 at plus 175, and the under 5.5. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my week and my show, Pete's Power Plays. Clients that just signed up, you will get your plays soon. Those that want to join in, DM me, and I'll let you guys know. Have a phenomenal, phenomenal day. Have a great weekend. Enjoy some great hockey today, and I'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. See you guys. Bye.